Level 1. You are 24. You have $800 in your bank account. It's a Wednesday evening in your apartment. The apartment has one bedroom and a window that does not close all the way. You are sitting at a small desk made of 2 filing cabinets and a piece of plywood you found behind a hardware store. Your laptop is open. You have been working on the same problem for 9 months. The problem is a small piece of software. The software does one thing. The one thing is, by every measurable standard, not important. The software helps small business owners send better invoice reminders. That is it. That is the entire thing. You have been working on it because, 6 months ago, you noticed that your father, who runs a small auto repair shop, was owed $11,000 by customers who had not paid. Your father did not know how to chase the money. He felt awkward calling. He felt awkward emailing. The $11,000 sat, slowly, in the spreadsheet your father kept in a file called Owed to Me. You wrote the software for your father. You then noticed, talking to other small business owners, that your father was not unusual. Almost every small business in the country has uncollected invoices. The total amount of money sitting in spreadsheets called Owed to Me is, you calculated, in the tens of billions of dollars. You have, this Wednesday evening, your first paying customer. The customer is a dental office in Cleveland. They are paying you $39 a month. The $39 arrived in your account this morning. You stared at it for 10 minutes. The $39 is not money. The $39 is proof. The proof is that someone, somewhere, was willing to pay you for the small piece of software you built in your apartment. The proof is what changes you. You will, in the next 18 months, get to 300 customers. The 300 customers will pay you, on average, $50 a month each. You will be generating around $15,000 a month. You will, around the time you turn 26, be running a small profitable software business out of your one-bedroom apartment. You will not be wealthy. You will be the founder of something. The verb at level 1 is start. Start the small, unglamorous thing that almost nobody wants you to start. The thing that your friends think is a waste of time. The thing that your parents do not understand. The thing that pays you $39 a month for the first 6 months while you wonder if it will ever become anything. Almost everyone who eventually becomes a billionaire started here. Not at this exact business. Not with these exact numbers. But with a small piece of work that paid them, the first time, an amount of money that was too small to matter and too important to ignore. Most people who start, stop within a year. The stopping is the failure point. The not stopping is the entire game. Level 2. You are 29. The company has 14 employees. The 14 employees work in a small office in a building that has, on the ground floor, a bank branch and a sandwich shop. You bought the office furniture used. The chairs do not match. You do not care. The company is generating, this year, around $2.5 million in revenue, and about $600,000 of that is profit, and you are doing the math, late at night, on what you can reinvest into hiring more engineers. Your software now does 7 things instead of 1. The invoice reminders are still the core product, but you have added, over the years, related tools that small businesses need. Cash flow forecasting, late payment risk scoring, automated follow-up sequences. Each addition came from a customer telling you, in a support ticket, what they wish the software could do. You are, technically, the CEO. You do not feel like a CEO. You feel like a person who happens to be the most experienced employee at a small company that he started by accident. The transition is happening, though, whether you feel it or not. You hire a head of engineering. You hire a head of sales. You hire a head of customer success. Each hire is harder than the previous one because each hire requires you to admit that you cannot, anymore, do the job they are being hired to do. Letting go of these jobs is, you realize over the next 2 years, the actual work of running a company. The technical work is easier than the letting go. You have, by the end of level 2, around 1,000 customers. Each customer pays you, on average, $80 a month. Your annual revenue is approaching $1 million per month. Your company, valued at 15 times revenue by venture capital standards, is worth, on paper, around $180 million. You own, after early dilution, about 60% of the company. You are worth, on paper, around $100 million. The verb at level 2 is build. Not just build the product. Build the team. Build the systems. Build the culture that will allow the company to continue when you are no longer doing every job yourself. The building is what produces the multiplier. Without the multiplier, you would still be a small software company. With the multiplier, you are about to enter a phase that will, if it works, take you to $100 billion. Most founders never make it through level 2. The transition from doing the work to managing the work is where most companies die. The founders cannot let go. The companies stay small. The founders stay small. You let go. You build. Level 3. You are 33. The company is worth $1 billion. The valuation came in a Series C round. The investors were 3 venture capital firms you had been talking to for 18 months. They wanted in. You wanted the capital. The number was negotiated for 6 weeks. You arrived on a Thursday afternoon in May at $1 billion. Your share of the company, after further dilution, is about 32%. Your share, on paper, is worth $320 million. You are, at 33, technically a multi-hundred millionaire. You sit with this fact for several months before you do anything about it. The doing nothing is, again, the correct move. The founders who, at this stage, sell secondary shares and buy a big house and start living differently, are the founders who, almost without exception, lose focus on the company. The company plateaus. The company gets sold for less than it could have been worth. The founder ends up wealthy by any normal standard, but never crosses into the next level. You do not sell shares. You do not buy a big house. You continue living in the apartment you moved into 2 years ago, which is nicer than your first apartment, but not, by any stretch, the apartment of $100 millionaire. Your friends do not know what your shares are worth. Your parents do not know. The not knowing is part of the discipline. The discipline is what produces the next level. Your company is now serving, every day, hundreds of thousands of small businesses across 40 countries. The software does, at this point, dozens of things. The team has grown to 250 people. The revenue is approaching $100 million per year. This is the third thing nobody tells you about becoming a billionaire. The third thing is that the company stops being software at this level. The company starts being infrastructure. Small businesses depend on you. They cannot, easily, switch to a competitor. They have integrated your software into their daily operations. You are, in their lives, a permanent and unnoticed presence. The infrastructure is the moat. The moat is what allows the company to keep growing without competition catching up. The verb at level 3 is entrench. Become embedded. Become part of how things work. The entrenchment is invisible to your customers, but it is the entire reason your company will, in 2 more years, be worth 10 times what it is worth today. You, at 33, are entrenching. Quietly, without telling anyone what you are worth. Level 4. You are 37. The company is worth $10 billion. The valuation came in a private secondary round, 6 months after the company crossed $200 million in annual revenue. The investors are now sovereign wealth funds and large institutional pools. The conversations are different. The lawyers are different. The terms are different. You are no longer talking to venture capital partners about product roadmaps. You are talking to investment committees about market expansion. Your share of the company, after years of further dilution, is now about 24%. Your share is worth, on paper, $2.5 billion. You are a billionaire. The crossing happened on a Tuesday morning when the secondary round closed and the cap table updated. There was no celebration. There was no announcement. You were sitting at your desk reviewing engineering hiring plans. Your phone buzzed with a message from your CFO that the round had closed. You read the message. You went back to the hiring plans. The not celebrating is, at this level, the default mode. The founders who celebrate at this stage, who suddenly take the vacation they have been postponing, who buy the thing they have been promising themselves, almost always lose focus. The losing of focus is the failure. The continuation is the discipline. You continue. The company at this level is, in the small world of business-to-business software, becoming famous. You are quoted in industry publications. You are invited to speak at conferences. You decline most of the invitations. The invitations are not for your benefit. The invitations are for the benefit of the conference organizers who want a famous founder on their stage. You have learned, slowly, that fame is a tax on time. The famous founders who survive at this level are the ones who treat fame as a cost to be minimized rather than a benefit to be maximized. This is the fourth thing nobody tells you about becoming a billionaire. The fourth thing is that the billion is the point at which you become a target. Other companies want to buy you. Other founders want to be you. Journalists want to profile you. Activists want to criticize you. Each of these forces, individually, is manageable. All of them together, on a daily basis, would overwhelm a person who is not prepared for them. You spend an increasing portion of your time, at this level, simply protecting your focus. The focus is the asset. The focus is what allows the company to keep building. The focus is what your competitors lose, slowly, as they become billionaires before you. The verb at level 4 is protect. Protect your time. Protect your focus. Protect the small group of people around you who help you operate at this level. The protection is the actual work of being a billionaire founder. The product is, by now, mostly running itself. Level 5. You are 43. The company is worth $100 billion. The valuation came in stages. 3 large funding rounds over 4 years. Each round was led by different categories of investors. Tech-focused private equity, crossover hedge funds. Eventually, a public listing that opened at a valuation of $70 billion and climbed, over the next 18 months, to 100. You own, after all the dilution and primary sales, about 15% of the public company. Your stake, at $100 billion, is worth $15 billion. You are now in the small layer of people who are spoken of by their net worth in articles. The articles describe you in terms that you do not recognize. The articles say you are visionary. The articles say you transformed an industry. The articles say things that, while not technically false, miss the actual texture of what happened, which was 20 years of small consistent decisions made by a person who, at 24, had $800 and a piece of plywood on top of 2 filing cabinets. You do not, at this point, run the company day to day. You have a CEO. The CEO has been with the company for 7 years. The CEO is excellent. The CEO is better at the day-to-day operations than you ever were. You are the executive chairman. You make the largest decisions. You set the long-term direction. You handle the most important external relationships. The day-to-day, you have let go of. The letting go was harder than the building. This is the 5th thing nobody tells you about becoming a billionaire. The 5th thing is that the company, at $100 billion, has outgrown the founder. The founder is, at this scale, a bottleneck if he insists on staying involved in everything. The founders who insist, almost without exception, slow the company down. The founders who let go allow the company to outpace them. The outpacing is what gets you from 10 billion to 100. The verb at level 5 is delegate. Delegate everything except the few things only you can do. Identify, with care, what those few things are. Spend your time on those few things. Let everything else be handled by people who are better at it than you. You, at 43, have figured out what the few things are. You spend your days on them. The rest, you do not touch. Level 6. You are 49. Your net worth is $50 billion. The $50 billion came from continued growth of the company, plus a few well-timed secondary investments outside the company. You have, in the last 6 years, built a small investment vehicle that holds positions in adjacent companies, in real estate, in a few specific private equity vehicles. The investment vehicle is run by a team of 7 people. You make the strategic decisions. They do everything else. The investment vehicle has, in 6 years, returned about $12 billion in additional gains. The gains are technically separate from your operating company's stake, but they exist because of your company. Without the company, you would not have the capital to make the investments. Without the company's continued growth, the investments would not have the capital partners willing to co-invest with you. The wealth, at this level, has stopped being one thing. The wealth is now a portfolio of related interests, all of which compound on each other. This is the 6th thing nobody tells you about becoming a billionaire. The 6th thing is that, somewhere between 10 billion and 50 billion, the wealth itself becomes a separate operating system from the company that produced it. The wealth needs its own management. The wealth needs its own strategy. The wealth needs, in a sense, its own version of you. You have, by now, hired the version of yourself that manages the wealth. You have a chief investment officer. You have a chief of staff. You have, in effect, a small institution that does nothing but manage your personal capital and the capital of your immediate family. The institution operates with the same disciplines that built the original company. Patient, long-term, focused on specific advantages. The verb at level 6 is institutionalize. Institutionalize the wealth. Build the structures that will allow the wealth to continue operating after you are no longer making decisions. The institutionalizing is what separates the billionaires who lose their wealth from the billionaires who do not. Most billionaire families lose their wealth within 3 generations. The ones who do not are the ones who built the institution early. You, at 49, are building the institution. You are aware that the building is, in some sense, the actual work of being wealthy at this level. The company keeps running. The wealth needs to be tended. Level 7. You are 56. Your net worth is $100 billion. The crossing happened over the course of a year. Continued company appreciation, plus successful investments, plus a few large deals that you were positioned to make because of who you had become. The $100 billion is, on any given day, fluctuating by $1 billion or $2. You have stopped tracking it daily. The number is, at this scale, more like weather than like wealth. You are, by now, one of the 50 wealthiest people in the world. The 50 wealthiest people in the world know each other. Not all of them. Not in the way that you know your friends. But there is, between people at this level, a kind of mutual awareness. You have been in rooms with most of them. You have done deals with some of them. You have, on occasion, disagreed publicly with others. The world of the 50 wealthiest people is small and strange, and not what you would have imagined when you were 24 and had $800. The world is also, at this level, mostly disconnected from money. This is the 7th thing nobody tells you about becoming a billionaire. The 7th thing is that, at $100 billion, money is no longer the variable that organizes your life. The variables that organize your life become, instead, time and attention. You have enough money to do anything you want for the rest of your life and the rest of your great-grandchildren's lives. The money is, at this level, simply a fact about your existence. The questions that remain are not about money. The questions are about what to do with the time you have left and where to direct the attention that nobody can take from you. The verb at level 7 is direct. Direct your attention. Direct your time. Direct the small number of decisions that will, in retrospect, define what the last third of your life was for. The directing is the entire job. You think, sometimes, about the Wednesday evening when you were 24 and your first customer sent you $39. You think about how that $39 felt. You think about how the $100 billion, in some specific way, does not feel meaningfully different. The $39 was proof that the work mattered. The $100 billion is also, in the end, proof that the work mattered. The proof was the point. The number was just the unit it was measured in. The payoff. So let's pull this together. At level 1, start. The $39 customer that proves the work matters. At level 2, build. The transition from doing the work to managing the work. At level 3, entrench. Become infrastructure. Become permanent. At level 4, protect. Protect your time and focus from the forces that come with the first billion. At level 5, delegate. Let go of everything except the few things only you can do. At level 6, institutionalize. Build the structures that allow the wealth to operate without you. At level 7, direct. Use your remaining time and attention deliberately. Here is the thing nobody on YouTube will tell you about becoming a billionaire. The path is not what the movies show. The path is not a single genius idea executed perfectly. The path is 20 years of small, consistent decisions made by a person who, most of the time, did not know if any of it would work. The path is the not stopping when stopping would have been reasonable. The path is the letting go of jobs that you used to do. The path is the protection of focus when fame and noise want to take it. Almost everyone who becomes a billionaire could not have predicted, at 24, that they would become one. The becoming was the result of staying, not of planning. The staying is the entire achievement. If you are watching this video and you are at level 1, the message is that the $39 matter. The $39 are not the prize. The $39 are the signal that the work is real. Keep going. If you are watching this video and you are not at level 1 yet, the message is that the entry point is small. The entry point is a problem you noticed and a piece of software, or a service, or a product you can build to solve it. The entry point does not require permission. The entry point does not require capital. The entry point is, fundamentally, the decision to start. The decision to start is, in retrospect, the entire game. Somewhere right now, a 24-year-old is sitting at a desk made of filing cabinets and plywood. They are working on a problem nobody asked them to solve. They will, in a few months, get their first paying customer. The customer will pay them an amount of money that is too small to matter and too important to ignore. They will, if they do not stop, end up somewhere on the ladder you just watched. The ladder has 7 levels. The first step is the hardest. If this video changed how you think about building wealth from nothing, hit subscribe. We have more videos like this on the channel, each one breaking down a different path that wealth takes through time and decisions. See you in the next one.